Good evening, I'm Quentin Tarantino's Foot Fetish.
I'm Jason Steele.
And you're watching Discussing Stargate.
So, we're on the planet of absurdly large cowboy hats.
Yes, we are. Before we get started talking about this episode though, I wanted to give a shout out to our fallen Stargate brother, Cliff Simmon, who played Baal. He died in a kiteboarding accident.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He was like 56, had a spill.
That fucking sucks.
Yeah, I met him at Brisbane Supernova 2019.
Yeah.
I shook his hand. I'm like, you were fucking great as Baal. He looked fucking good, eh?
Yeah.
I remember thinking, what a handsome man.
I've seen him floating around in a couple of movies, of B movies.
I had nothing else but Stargate. Like, I love you as Baal, and I know nothing else about your career.
That's his most iconic role for me, anyway.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I was gonna like film him doing something, but I'm like, nah, that's too much. That's too much.
Film him getting into his car and going home and
filming through the bushes in his bedroom.
It's like what's that really David Hitchcock one?
Oh, Rear Window.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You know, that's really sad. I didn't know that.
he's not gonna be in
He's
when the show comes
It's
back.
never coming back.
When the show comes
It's
back.
never coming back. It says it's
Inevitably.
never coming back. Oh yeah, when they reboot it with The Rock as O'Neill.
That's Tilk.
And Mark Wahlberg, The Rock, Mark Wahlberg, and
Mark Wahlberg is Daniel Jackson.
and Carol from The Office.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
Yeah, so SG-1 flies through the fucking the Stargate at a very rough rate, and they do a bit of a retcon here with the inconsistency with the Stargate. They basically Sam says that they've realigned because the planets all moved from when they first detailed the addresses. So they've fixed up the alignment. So
they recalibrated the addresses.
Yeah, that's why they don't have frost on their faces anymore, or why it's not uber cold, or why it doesn't
It's taken a long time for them to retcon it.
It's taken like 60 episodes for them to say, yeah, this is why it doesn't shake and fucking make noise. And
We got too many emails.
No,
back in season 1 in episode 3.
Why is there no frost on their faces anymore? And then these like fucking pilgrim-esque people come. It was a bit confusing that they evolved from Norse mythology, but they're wearing like 17th century
Pilgrim stuff, like American Pilgrim.
American like colonial.
Oh, it's just whatever. Right, pick a period in time. They've got the Native American ones, and we've got.
I guess they didn't want to do the Viking garb again, so they're just like this random culture.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point.
It's a bit weird. I guess it's just a coincidence that garb developed independently of any contact of the actual American colonialists.
We're on a lovely pine forest planet.
As always. And they rock up. We get our antagonist. I think his name is Malchus?
Yeah, there's always one.
There's always
one guy, and it is a trope, right? It's a cliche trope.
Yeah.
There's always one guy, and he's like,
Get the fuck out of town.
And it's like totally impenetrable to logic, and it's always funny. And I always say this, right? They never quite realize how close they are to like just death. If they just tried something, they would just be obliterated by P95.
Everybody,
So it's always a little bit annoying that they don't realize how close to complete obliteration they are.
Yeah. And I guess it's just a narrative beat for tension. They don't know how else to create tension other than the guy, the antagonist.
The guy. Yeah, well, I mean, it makes sense though, right? Especially in like a religious context. Like, 'cause that's what it is, right? It's all
and they've got Tilk with them, who is like the very vision of the enemy.
He's evil. He's got the evil symbol. Yeah. And it's like, well, I can say that. There's always some highly conservative religious person within their little whichever slice of faith they've got.
Yeah. And then the best timing ever, they proclaim that these are elves who are either bringing good tidings or bad tidings.
In Norse mythology, Freyr was the ruler of the elves. They can bring good or bad tidings.
We certainly hope you have come to wish us well.
We get this lovely orange filter throughout the episode, which just increases in intensity, which is great for just bringing the suspense to your mind as the narrative rolls on, the ticking clock element. And old mate's like, these people are horribly evil.
Maybe. I'm gonna that. I wouldn't have thought that. I don't know. It's kind of I don't know at this point in the series how many times they've done that role before. That trope.
Probably, the antagonist guy or the SG-1 rocks up to a society and fucks everything.
Fucks it. No, that never stops.
That's the whole narrative from the beginning. They open up the Stargate with no knowledge of what they're doing, start fucking wars with the world.
I like the thing that they bypass the Stargate thing.
That's
and it causes consequences, and that's it's like a technical episode, right? It's like exploring the mechanics of how they're jerry-rigging the whole thing.
And the scientific explanation is like nice and simple and made sense. They piggybacked plutonium through the sun, and because they bypassed the safety protocols.
It has consistent logic. I think they actually do that. Don't they piggyback a nuke or something into a sun at one point?
Probably. I know they open a Stargate in the middle of a sun at some point and suck the sun through the Stargate or something.
Well, I know that it was the Hell episodes. They did something like that. They destroyed a sun, but I think that was season 4, wasn't it?
Yeah, that sounds about right. It was definitely before this point in time.
Yeah, so they've futzed around with suns before. But anyway, so it's interesting the way that they go into the mechanics of like the Stargate. That's always one of the most interesting parts of the thing.
And the Samantha, the exposition dump Carter wasn't as bad as in a lot of like season 1, season 2 episodes where like they're really trying to describe a
bottom flux reversal.
The black hole episode where they open the black hole, which is a great episode, but that one is like just beating the audience around the head with fucking this is what a black hole is. It's like,
okay, thank you.
I get it.
Well, somehow the plutonium piggybacked onto our wormhole from another star system, then bonded with their sun as we passed through it.
I hope that doesn't mean it's our fault.
O'Neill needs to play dumb, even though he's a fucking military colonel.
I know.
Which he is actually playing dumb. There are moments where he's actually like...
It gets, again, it's like anything, it all gets toned down as we get further into this series.
Yeah,
right?
It's the earlier seasons where they really...
O'Neill's dumb. It's like, well, not really.
Oh yeah,
he's not really dumb.
He needs to be dumb so Sam can explain it to the audience, right? But then it gets to the point where it's like, how dumb should this military strategist
be? A knuckle-dragging fucking Neanderthal. So one of the other good things about this episode is, like they create this disaster and all the religious people on this planet who are under the protectorate of the Asgard and think that they're gods. They're like, oh, this is Ragnarok, and they go into the little communication room with the recording of the Asgard guy.
Yeah.
And they interpret what he said, the predetermined lines that he says.
He says just random vague stuff about fucking...
the battle that is coming, you must trust your instincts, and you know...
the antagonist is like, these people need to be shunned and read. That's what I took away from it.
We can drag, do you, oh great, Fred, do you want us to kill them? We can draw a cord in them. It's like... I mean, you could try and do that. That's the thing that you could try and do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if they got the jump on them, they could pitchfork one of them and then they just get obliterated.
That happens fairly often. They get the jump on them. Huh?
Yeah, they get captured. Well, most of the time they're like, we're just gonna get fucking put in prison for a bit. We're not gonna open fucking fire on you people, you primitives.
Yeah, Neil got pretty close.
Yeah, he did by the end.
Just give me one episode.
Well, they just mow through everyone and then just leave.
The guy there.
Oh, that's done.
They immediately identify the trope and they're like, oh, this guy's going to cause us problem.
In the town square in front of everyone.
Right after they just met them.
Yeah.
You are wise to seek my counsel, but only through faith will you prove worthy of my benevolence.
Do you desire us to put these outsiders to death? They could be drawn and quartered before nightfall.
That's a bit harsh, isn't it?
You know, it took me a bit by surprise too. Freya is like a female in Norse mythology, and he was just a man here.
Yeah, it's all a bit. Is Freya actually like, because you know the gods thing with like
Freya is
genders
one of the gods with Loki and Thor and Odin and all that, but yeah, she's a female, and then this is just like he's a man in like cheap fucking.
He's got the dollar store Halloween costume like barbarian hat,
which isn't as bad because the Asgard are pretending to be. Their resources are stretched thin because of the war.
Budget cuts, that's the reason.
So they went to the dollar store and got some plastic Viking armor.
The galactic dollar store.
They didn't research into the fact that Freya was a fucking female. Like,
But that's the point though, right? The Norse mythology only exists because of the Asgard.
Yeah, it's a cover.
Yeah, but
in general.
Yeah, didn't it come from them?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so then it's whatever they say it is.
That's fair.
So if it's dollar store, if they say it's dollar store or barbarian hat, then that's what it is.
Yeah, with the horns and everything.
Yeah, the little plastic horns.
That's fair enough.
The treaty states that the people of a planet categorized as protected will be free from Goa'uld domination. However, subsection 42 states that the people on those planets cannot be artificially advanced through Asgard technological means.
Yeah, so the Asgard, they refuse to help because they have a treaty of the Goa'uld that states that they can't interfere in a culture's evolution. They can't help society's progress.
They can't prevent a natural disaster as a part of the treaty, right?
Even though this wasn't a natural disaster, it was SG-1 fucking around.
But I can see, yeah, well, it's SG, I mean, they are kind of like a walking natural disaster.
How many societies are they left in their wake? Just burning, like, whoops.
Whoopsie daisy. It's actually, I always like the interactions between the Tari and the Asgard. I always enjoy that.
It's great that O'Neill is like their spokesperson.
Yeah.
He's the most undiplomatic member of the team ever.
It is interesting. And you know, it's kind of throughout the whole series, right until before the Ori saga, and even after the Ori saga, the interactions with the Asgard are always sparse enough. They're always sparse enough that they're still sort of like this, you know, really sort of high entity sort of thing. It's always
they explain it well enough. It's like, you know, they're fighting the replicators. They're stretched thin, and if they weren't, then there would be no tension or no narrative. It's like, can you fix the problem? Yes, we can.
Well, there'd be no Goa'uld, right? They go through and just remove them all.
Yeah. So from a story narrative standpoint, okay, they can't help.
But I like the politics because it's kind of like a politics thing as well, like the galactic politics of, you know.
Yeah.
It's like that episode. I think that's actually an earlier episode where they're setting up the treaty or whatever, or they have the
round table.
Yeah, the round table treaty thing. I think that's a really interesting episode too.
Is that the one where Yu gets assassinated?
Yes.
Doesn't, and then
that's right.
That might be another one.
Yeah.
But I think that is the treaty one. Thor calls all of them in, and they're all complaining about their rooms and the cameras.
In saying that, isn't that a flashback episode?
Maybe.
I hate those episodes.
Yeah, I know. There's one in season 1 and one in season 2, and I was just watching season 6, and there's one in season 6.
Is there?
I'm like, what do we still need to, like, explaining what the Goa'uld are and trying to flash
remember when this thing happened? Remember when this thing happened? We couldn't think of anything to do for this episode, so here's a previous episode.
Yeah, it's a product of television in the 90s.
Because it is, yeah.
It was on the telly and it was gone. You couldn't rewatch it. You couldn't download it. You couldn't stream it. It was like, if you chimed into SG-1 halfway through and you didn't know what was going on, you had to figure it out.
Yeah.
Which you could. I mean, just,
Of course you could.
I did that as a kid. I didn't watch the first episode.
It's all fairly self-explanatory.
I came into like, I don't know, season 4 or something. I knew what was happening.
I don't even know. All I remember is that we ended up getting like a whole box set of like all bloody 10 seasons or something.
Oh, true.
So that's where I got it from.
I'd tape it off Channel 7 and they just, one night they'd show like Thursday 9:30 and then next week it'd be like Friday at 7 p.m. so it was so hard to ever catch.
Trying to make sure that the series fails by broadcasting it at sporadic times.
Of course.
We made a mistake. A big mistake. And we're very, very sorry. But we also saved your little gray butts from the replicators. And now we want your help.
Yeah, so they like go and they talk to the Asgard recording and they come out and they're like, "Arr!" And then so the team goes back in and like unplugs everything and talks to the actual Asgard and they don't get a very warm reception because Thor's not there.
Yeah.
We have a very funny scene where it keeps cutting like O'Neill's his hologram's being projected to the High Council, the Asgard High Council, and it cuts to him talking to them, and it cuts to Samantha and Daniel like watching, looking at his back, watching him. So we've saved your tiny blue butts, like fucking,
The two most diplomatic members of SG-1 listening to his responses, which completely.
There's another interesting moment, and it's like the growth of the characters or whatever, where O'Neill is like, I think that's after they blow up because like the religious nut job blows up, him and his cronies blow up the rocket they're going to try and fix.
So they're going to shoot a rocket with heavy elements into the sun to stabilize it, and it cuts to 3 weeks later. And the rocket fucking explodes, kills 2 members of SG-6.
And O'Neill's like, okay, fuck this.
Yeah.
And he's fucking gone. But there's an interesting moment where where they're going to the gate, and basically like Samantha, Daniel, and Tilk all push back on him. Which is interesting.
Yeah, because he's at the fucking breaking point. Like, he pulls a gun on this guy. And, like, he's not joking around or...
he's gonna shoot this guy.
He's actually at the point where, like, I'm gonna fucking murder this guy, which is great. And Richard Dean Anderson does a great job of those moments.
He's always able to sort of pull back on the sort of comedic...
there's no comedy there. It's all intensity.
Well, it's always about, like, his... primary concern is is human lives, essentially, at the end of the day, right? Specifically, Tari human lives.
And he is like the military commander guy, and 2 of his people just got fucking murdered
by terrorists. Right?
Essentially. But it kind of knocks up the stakes and everything of this episode a little bit more than the normal episodes, because normally shit just doesn't explode and kill 2 members of the crew and destroy everything they've been building to the whole episode. So I like Richard Dean's intensity, and I like how high the stakes get. And also, that discussion with the whole team being like, just settle down, bro.
You just need to fucking relax. This shit's gonna happen.
Take 5 minutes and have a breather. It's all just happened.
You just need to fucking, this is not what we do. We don't just say fuck it and we're gone, right?
The gods have spoken.
You just killed 2 of my men and screwed your whole planet.
2 of our brothers also gave their lives to serve the gods.
You coward. Why didn't you do it yourself? Why?
I would gladly die to serve the gods.
No, Jack!
Sir!
Stop, please!
Yeah, so it's not, again, it's, it's funny, we watched this episode and you chose it. It's actually a lot more interesting than I remember it being.
It's funny, some of the bigger, like, story beat episodes where stuff happens, you're watching, like, it's good, but there's not much to talk about. But there were a few things going on in this episode. And I like the ending. The ending, well, not the actual ending, but the rocket exploding was the point where I'm like, this is great. I actually would have liked a fucking horribly macabre ending where they can't fix the problem and the planet burns to death.
But this is
SG-1 are just like, whoops.
Whoopsie daisy. Well, this is the closest that we get to that sort of thing. Right? You don't get that sort of stuff until way later where they're sort of really truly outmatched by things. It's like Abydos and Nervous, right?
Yeah,
you know,
that's just like whoop.
Whoop, well, we can't do anything about this.
He'll never mention Skara again.
Yeah, that's true.
His surrogate son is just like,
Yeah, who he agonizes over for like 5 seasons or
Daniel
something.
Jackson spent like a year there integrating into the culture.
That's true, actually. They never mention him again. There's never any sort of like reflective
Abydos
moment.
exploded. That's not good. Presumably Share's father was there and everyone.
Well, but I guess they got the happy happies, right? Where Shara fucking Skara?
Yeah.
Skara, where Skara ascended.
Yeah.
Right? So they got the happy happies.
Oh yeah, that's
so they don't have to reflect on his untimely demise, right?
The entire destruction of Abydos.
So this is the closest that we get to the sort of, well, there's nothing we can do. We're basically fucking
they
screwed.
get to that point. They try again to put the heavy element within the sun, and they can't do that. And then it's alluded to that the Asgard used SG-1 as a cover to fix the problem and not alert the Goa'uld to their interference.
The implication, of course, is that like the Goa'uld are like watching.
Which they're fucking not.
No,
they're fighting amongst themselves. Yeah.
They're doing their own bloody thing.
Anubis is like fighting all the other system lords and stuff at this point in time. They would have no idea what's going on this
comes
planet.
down. I saw that.
He's interfered. Yeah, we're fucking invading.
Now it's all fucking all hands off. Oh, it's fine.
I'm pretty sure we didn't do this, sir. At least not on our own.
Asgard.
They said they wouldn't help.
Overtly.
Yeah, so in conclusion, Richard Dean Anderson did a great job. I really love that rocket exploding and the stakes just raising higher than I thought it would normally go. Normally it's just like arguments and cultural stuff.
I got one more thing. It's funny.
Oh, I got one more thing as well. You go.
Daniel's like go-to solution for any problem is to relocate everybody.
Yeah.
That's always his go-to.
And
It's like
they just need a thing where it's like, nah, they don't want to.
yeah, of course I don't fucking want it. No one ever wants to. No one's ever leaving.
Yeah.
You guys can just go.
I guess if someone knocked at my front door and said you're relocating in the next like 2 days, I'd be like, what?
How about you fucking leave?
We're gonna get horrible skin cancer. But yeah, I love when O'Neill gets out his soapbox. Literal soapbox, and it's like
they're aliens. They don't care. You know, they chose not to help you. You know, we gave them an option. And they don't want to help you.
Tries to completely disband this culture's belief in the gods in like a 2-minute speech.
What do you think?
They're aliens.
You know, he's a bit. This 3 foot tall.
His arms, legs, and they're all like,
I don't believe what you're saying.
We're gonna stay here and burn to death.
Yeah, because that's what the gods want.
Yeah.
You'd almost expect them to like take them to the chamber or whatever.
Yeah, like, you've gone too far now.
Yeah.
You're heretics.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's an interesting little episode.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the escalation at the end.
Did they learn anything from this episode?
No, they continue to fuck around and leave a trail of...
Quite often that happens though, right? Is that they'll do something somewhere in some episode and then that will...
I mean, yeah, maybe they're more cautious about, all the safety protocols that they just ignore when they use the Stargate. Perhaps.
Yeah.
Or perhaps...
No. Yeah, perhaps not.
I always like that contrast though, because fucking Star Trek is the complete opposite. It's like zero interference with any culture. Even if something bad's happening, you gotta leave him.
I don't know that that's necessarily true. That's what they say.
Yeah, sometimes that's the narrative. But yeah, SG-1 from the beginning, it's just like, where are we going? Where's it going? Ding, 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 ding. What's happening? Sure. The Tok'ra are trying this like quiet espionage going under the Goa'uld.
Kick down the door.
Yeah. SGC is like full on war.
Wait,
Tok'ra, what are you doing?
When all else fails, whip out the C4.
I mean, in the end, it works, right?
I mean, how many pounds of C4? How many 100 pounds of C4 have they used?
How many times have they put the SGC on fucking self-destruct?
Yeah, dude.
So with the Enterprise, how many episodes the Enterprise have put it on self-destruct? Just a fucking classic ticking clock.
Well, that's always the sort of underlying or the overarching theme of the series, right? Is that their tactics are work because they're unconventional.
Yeah, the Goa'uld are not prepared for it at all. They're not afraid of them.
And the Tok'ra espionage thing doesn't really work.
Well, yeah, they've been doing it for thousands of fucking years, and what progress have they done?
None.
So the point of the story is brute force is always the way.
Brute force is the winner. You know the kind of clip from Starship Troopers where Professor Ratzak said he's in like the classroom and he's like, naked forces avoid, you know.
We'll leave you with that clip. Thank you and good night.
Oh, that's funny.
Richard Dean Anderson.
Go home, little girl, you don't belong with me. Go home, little girl, you're not in love with me. Go home, little girl, don't let the trouble